Hey, welcome back, everyone. We're the Robots After All. I'm Andrew,
I'm Tom.
and in today's episode, we're going to do a little bit of a informal approach. So we're going to talk about a little bit of news. We're going to talk about some of the shows we're watching, maybe some games we're playing, and just kind of have a little more of a free-form conversation. So
Yeah, let's just
um,
have fun with it, man. Going off the cuff, talking about everything we want to talk about.
yeah, totally. So the first thing I want to bring up is I want to hear your reaction to the new Switch announcement. So the new OLED Switch. I don't know if you've seen the Nintendo announcement, but what are your thoughts on it?
I have seen it, and I could care less about it, to be honest with you.
Yeah,
And
yeah, disappointing.
I have a feeling you probably feel the same way. I think a lot of people feel that way because there's been all this misleading news, like news stories about a Nintendo Switch Pro coming out, and like, oh, it's going to be more powerful, and the battery life will be better, yada yada yada. And then everybody's just like, here's a bigger screen, everybody. And Nintendo's just like, here, zero point 0.5 centimeters larger, or whatever it was. It's like such like an insignificant amount in my head.
Yeah, it totally is.
Um,
Yeah, I honestly feel like for a handheld, it's already very large as it stands. It's like a thin Game Gear. So it's already. I don't play it in handheld very often. I usually will like put it on a stand and then I use the Pro controller, just because I don't feel like holding the screen. But yeah, I mean, I wanted a more powerful machine, and instead we just get a little bit of a better screen. I just don't care. Like the screen that's on there is good enough quality. No, it doesn't have the deepest blacks. No, it's not like the most beautiful 1080p display. I don't think they're ever going to get to a point where they're going to have a box that size in this generation that produces 4K. So like the fact that people were thinking that it was going to do 4K or that they would have a Pro that would do 4K, I feel like it'd have to be double the thickness to probably produce that kind of power, and it'd probably overheat on us all the time. So,
you're all about those deepest blacks. I
oh
remember when
yeah,
I had a plasma TV when those were kind of all the rage.
yeah.
And you're like, these darks are great.
Well, the blacks actually, even though it seems like kind of simple, that's what makes your picture pop. Like if you have those really, really deep blacks, all the light parts like then kind of create more contrast, and then you get like a richer picture. So yeah, I'm all about the deep blacks.
I'm all about that
Sony,
richer picture.
all about the richer picture. The Sonys are really, really good for blacks, when it comes to the LED TVs that are out. But they've gotten a lot better. I mean, it used to be that if you had an LCD, you couldn't get blacks. It would be like a gray tone. And nowadays, like even like an $800 TV can give you some pretty decent blacks. So
And another thing about this screen thing, it's coming out in October. That is so far away in my head to even be like, for me to give any shits about something coming out. Like if this was coming
yeah,
out in like a month, I'd be like,
right.
oh, okay. Because
Yeah,
I don't have a Nintendo Switch console. I just have the Lite. So if that was coming, I'd be like, all right, I'd be interested in dishing out an extra $50. But the fact that you have to wait this long, and this is all they're giving us, and then like a fancy, kind of smoother looking, did it kind
yeah.
of look different in a way? And it has the kickstand. I don't
Which I
even know
don't
what
care
OLED
about.
is. Why is that better? Tell me now. Answers, please.
Um, Deeper blacks is the
That is.
so that's a lot of it. Yeah, it has richer colors and it has deeper blacks. I mean, it's able to produce a better quality picture than a standard LCD screen. It has to do with the way that the lights are grouped, like the red, green. I'm sorry, red.
RGB
Thank you. Yeah,
or
red,
green
green, and
blue.
blue. Yeah. So the way that the lights are grouped or something, or the quality of the fact that they're using LEDs instead of whatever the lighting is in an LCD. I actually don't know exactly what the technology is, but the
Mine
other
is LED. And what does the O stand for? Optimized or something, probably?
I
Optimum.
don't know. Let's look it up.
Optimus Prime.
Let's look it up.
I'm gonna guess optimized.
Optimus Prime.
Optimus, I don't even know what LED stands for. Lights Educational Dude. Lagan. Also
Organic light emitting diode.
organic.
So a diode is the part that actually emits the light, and this is basically, I think it's, I think all it's really saying is that it's it says here it's produced by organic molecules. So basically it's micro
What?
machine.
Are they using stem cells to make these?
I think so, yeah. I think that little orphan children
Oh,
are
man.
sacrificed so that we can have a better quality picture. And Nintendo's finally getting on board, which, about time.
It is about
Um,
time.
so yeah, so I mean, I feel exactly the same way. Like I don't care about upgrading. It's not worth the extra $50 for me. I actually need to buy another Switch for the girlfriend. So I'm thinking about just waiting until it comes out and then buying one of the previous models just to get it a little bit cheaper, because I'm sure the new one's going to be
Was she going to play Animal Crossing?
Yeah, she's been playing it on mine.
I saw it. You sent me a picture of it.
Yeah.
I was into that for a while during the pandemic, as they say, and it was fun. And then I fell out of it pretty hard.
Yeah, it's not my kind of game, but it's fun to watch her play. And I've like taken control of it and explored and did some fishing and stuff. And I was like, oh, this is cool, but like, yeah, it's not really my kind of thing.
Never into those type of Sims type games, really.
Yeah.
Also, what?
I said me either.
Oh, also the commercial for the OLED Switch was so friggin' over the top. It's like it had, what was it like? It was, first of all, it was way too long for what they were announcing,
right?
And then just how they were presenting it, like it was this big excitable moment in Nintendo. And this guy, old guy playing checkers, like, oh my gosh, you can put your screen so they can see the checkers pixels better.
Yeah, it was chess, but good memory.
Hey, listen, they look like circles on a board.
Yeah, they have like the grandmother like coaching the kid on how to win, and it's like, ooh, grandma can get involved because it's a larger screen now. The dock is another point of contention for me. Like the first dock design was a nightmare. It scratched people's screens. You had to get screen protectors, and then if you had to put like a cloth inside it to prevent it from scratching the system. And for people like me who like to keep stuff in good condition, like I don't even plug mine into a stand. I bought an adapter that's like a cable coming out of it that then runs to a switch that I have to put on a separate stand, just to try to keep it in good condition. So the fact that they are still going with that design, like they're doubling down on a dock that is potentially going to scratch the screen, just really pisses me off.
Yeah, it's crazy how many problems that console had when it first came out, bending screens and obviously the Joy-Con drift thing.
Yep.
And what is, like, they added a direct like Ethernet cable?
Yeah, so you can go online, so you can play Animal Crossing and without any latency.
Yeah.
Or Mario. I mean, how many online games really are people playing on the Switch? Like
Splatoon, baby.
Yeah, I was gonna say Splatoon 2, which I'm not sure what that community looks like right now.
Wait, you don't play Overwatch on Switch?
No, I do not.
There's the only way to play it, man.
I play it on Labo.
Imagine a big cardboard.
Yeah, exactly.
For each character.
So there's Splatoon, there's Mario Maker 2. That would be a good online game.
But isn't the cable thing like debunked? Like Wi-Fi is just as fast as a direct link, pretty much.
I mean, I think stability. I mean, when I play Overwatch, I play hardwired.
Yeah, I just Googled it. It's debunked.
Oh, okay.
So
that solves that.
No, I mean, I'm sure it helps a little bit. Whatever.
I think it's just the Wi-Fi can have a tendency to drop the number of megabits per second, whereas the Ethernet, the actual cable, is just going to be consistent stream. So
okay. Yeah, odd announcement from Nintendo. But since we're on the topic of Nintendo, was there anything else? I guess we could talk about Breath of the Wild 2 speculations and the trailer they dropped.
Yeah, I'd love to hear your reaction to, I mean, you're a massive fan of the original game.
Link to the Past.
No, I mean the original Breath of the Wild.
Oh yeah, obviously. I mean, come on, who isn't?
10 out of 10.
10 out of 10
Yeah.
game.
So what do you think of like what it looks like they're bringing to the table with this one?
So I think I was slightly underwhelmed. The sky thing, fine. I mean, they're going to go to the sky. Okay. I guess there'd be stuff up there floating. They're trying to get into the lore of Skyward Sword. Maybe I'll see a sword up there where you can get. There's going to be swords in the sky. They might be Skyward swords, and we'll find those, and he'll fly around, and then he'll fly back down to the ground.
The fall and glide.
That's what they'll call it, the fall. And you have to collect rupees. There'll be mini games.
Goblins, moblins.
I think the interesting aspect of it and what they're not telling us is that they're probably going to make Hyrule like a Dark World version, like in Link to the Past. So one of the things I wanted to mention that I noticed is that they have Princess Zelda falling down this deep, dark hole in the trailer. Now, I hope this doesn't mean that they're trying to make it like a Save Zelda thing again, Save the Princess. What I would like to see is if they make her the playable character in the Dark World, and you jump back between him and her, and then that can add like an entire puzzle-solving element, like they did in Link to the Past, where it would open up different areas, and she would have to do this to make it happen in that time frame. So that was one of my biggest speculations on seeing that trailer. I guess there's a new ability you can get. What were your first impressions of it?
Link's a ghost. He can pass through solid matter.
Did that happen?
Yeah.
Oh, he turns into a drippy faucet, right?
I don't remember exactly how they did it, but it shows him like rising through the rock and he like just goes through it. And it's like, oh, they turned a glitch mechanic into an actual game mechanic.
Oh man, people are gonna break the heck out of that. I think I think he turns it into, it looked like a drip, and it came up in like, you know how the drip thing happens onto his tablet? Drip on my tablet for power up.
Yeah.
That's what it looked like to me. And
that's
that,
actually,
yeah.
Yeah, that's actually like a good eye, because I didn't actually pick that up.
That's right. And now there'll be more Korok seeds to find.
Those damn Korok seeds. I did like 300 something of them, and I was like, I'm gonna get them all. And when I got to 300 something, I was just like, that's enough. I'm done here. We're done here.
That's a good amount. I think I maybe got over, maybe close to 200. I know that I really wanted to get a bunch so I could level up some of my gear and what have you.
Yeah, I think that's how you get the more slots or whatever. But did you do all the shrines?
I did not.
I hunted all down.
You did all those, yeah. Yeah, I still want to go back and do that at some point. I'm not even sure how many I have left.
It's really hard to find like the ones that you haven't done yet. Just because like it's not like they give you an indicator on the map. Like you have to literally travel to each tower, look around. I actually ended up buying the game guide, and I put like the map up on the wall. I tacked it up on the wall, and I was literally like checking off the
oh nice
the done. Yeah. And even then
I was using what?
I said even then it was still hard to do. So it's like, yeah.
I think I was using the IGN guide a lot for certain ones. There's some where you have to do kind of like a mini quest in order to unlock the shrine. And some of those were tricky, especially the one where you have to have the little bird people all sing or something.
Oh yeah, I think it's the kids, right? Don't you have to like rescue the kids? Yeah.
Yeah, you have to rescue them all, and then they sing in a certain way so the shrine will come. So some of those are a little tricky. And yeah, so there's still that to do. I think even upgrading all my armor, I don't think I did with the giant fairies. But
oh yeah, I think I actually stopped doing that as well, because I was like, it just doesn't really matter anymore. Like you get so many hearts in the game, like, you know, you start to get so OP that like it's not really necessary anymore.
Yeah.
You
gotta draw a line somewhere.
Yeah, I think that I'm less likely to go all out on Nintendo games because they don't actually have trophies or achievements. Like, so it's like I feel like there's not necessarily like you can create your own goals. Like for me, I was like, okay, I'll do all the shrines, and it was just because I love the game so much. I just wanted to play it more, so I set a goal to do that. But it's not like you unlock anything; you just get the 120 on your load screen. So it's like, yeah, and I don't even think I did that on the Switch. I think I did it. No, I know for a fact I didn't do it on Switch because I haven't beat it on Switch yet. I did it on the Wii U.
Do you get something for doing that though? I feel like a lot of times Nintendo to get past that trophy system is to just have in-game rewards or something.
I don't remember if I got anything for doing it.
Yeah.
Uh, I know it's nothing of like it's none of the like the major items like the shield you get, the Hyrule shield you get through helping like rebuild that village that's on the plateau by like giving all like the firewood and stuff.
I got it a different way.
Did you?
Yeah, the like the hero shield, the one that
Mhm.
is iconic Hyrule shield. I actually went to Ganon's castle, or well, it's not Ganon's castle, right?
Yeah, I think it is.
Is it? Or did
Oh,
he?
it's Hyrule. It's Hyrule Castle.
It's
He just
Hyrule
happened.
Castle. He just took it over, and
Yeah.
if you can go there early, and I remember doing that, and kind of was able to work my way through it a little bit, and I got to this guy, giant skeleton beast, and he has the shield, and if you kill him, you can get it kind of earlier on. I don't know how early that is, that quest, but to get it.
I think you can actually go. I don't think that's even a quest. I think you can actually go to Hyrule Castle as soon as you wake up.
Right.
Like that's one of the things that's kind of cool about the game is that you can literally. I think you have. Well, you probably have to get the paraglider, right? Because you have to paraglide into that little cave
You
thing.
definitely need a paraglider because then if your stamina sucks, you won't be able to because you have to swim a little bit, I think, in order to get over there as well.
Yeah,
Unless you, because the way I did it, since my stamina wasn't crazy good yet, I went to like a hill on like the backside and kind of glided into the water and then was able to swim to get to it to a certain point. And then they have those crazy laser guys. I try to avoid them.
Yeah, you gotta
They
watch
don't
out for
mess
them.
around.
They do not. They're hard.
But once you get that parry that going, those things are a cakewalk. You're just like, pew, knock it back at them. They're like, oh, I didn't expect such power from you.
Yeah, I actually I would always save before I would fight one, just because if you mess the timing up even a little bit on the parry, you end up like breaking your shield or getting smoked, and end up using a fairy you didn't mean to or something. So yeah, that game's amazing.
Beating those guys was so satisfying when you're the ones with the legs. The what is there a name for those?
The
Shrine guardians.
Shrine
And
beasts.
I was gonna say shrine protectors. Yeah, it was so satisfying once you start lobbing off all their legs and you're just doing like
Yes,
that tornado attack and you're just like
so cool. Yeah, yeah, yeah. The animation on like the legs coming off and stuff, like the fact it's awesome.
so
But yeah,
satisfying.
you might. I mean, you might be right. They might be doing some kind of dark world variant. It definitely looks like it. At least the initial trailer that they showed before this most recent one, it looked like it was going to have a much darker motif. And then this one, it's like, okay, now we're seeing kind of Hyrule Field, and it's light outside, and like it's not going to be, some kind of weird Dark Souls Zelda blend. So we'll see what happens.
Yeah,
I really hope that they don't just remake Breath of the Wild, that they actually try to do something that's like more interesting, because I feel like the Zelda formula has kind of been the same for so long. They've now redefined it, and I wonder if they're just going to kind of ride that wave. I mean, the fact that they're calling it Breath of the Wild 2 means it's going to have a lot of similarities, but I was a little disappointed to find that a lot of the enemy variety looks pretty similar so far. So they probably reuse a lot of the same assets.
well, apparently the title they haven't revealed the title yet because they said it's a spoiler. So this is a news type like article from IGN. I guess they talked to one of the guys, Nintendo Zelda guys, and they said, yeah, we don't want to reveal the title quite yet because it'd be a spoiler. So that's kind of a clue into what the game is going to be. So if it's going to be a title like A Link to the Past, it's going to be obvious what they're going to be doing there. or Dark World or Breath of the Dead.
Breath of the Dark,
Breath of the Dark.
Dark of the Worlds, Thor 3,
Yeah.
Halo 3, Halo 3 2, Halo 4 the movie.
The movie. Yeah, so I think you're right. I mean, I hope they don't try to just have that same world, but I don't know how else they would do it. If they didn't do like some kind of dark version, it wouldn't be as interesting, I feel. If it's just the sky, that's not enough.
Yeah, I have no interest in the sky either. Like Skyward Sword was probably my least favorite Zelda out of the entire franchise.
Yeah, you really hated on the Skyward Sword in that last episode.
It was bad. It was a bad game.
Yeah, no good.
But I will probably play the remastered version just because I want to give it another shot. And I also want like the fact that they're taking the Wii motion controls out of it, and you're going to be able to just like swipe with the directional pad. I think will make it a lot more.
You still have to get a Joy-Con Plus though, the Motion Plus version.
You're messing with me.
Yeah. Yeah, Breath of the Wild 2, name whatever. Looking forward to it. Whatever it is, it'll be fun to get back into it.
Yeah, it'll be awesome.
Power-up abilities. I saw that they had that in the trailer too.
Maybe it'll really shine on the new Switch OLED.
Ooh,
organic light emitting diodes.
Yep. Do you play Smash Brothers at all? I don't own that.
I love it. Yeah.
Well, they announced the new guy, Jin from Tekken.
Tekken. Yeah, not interested. Don't care. What?
Who is your main for that?
It used to be Game & Watch. So I've played all of them. Well, actually, I didn't play the Nintendo 64 version, believe it or not. But I played.
My goodness.
I know.
I never. All the time.
Yeah, I never really. I mean, I have played it, but like I didn't play it regularly. But I got really into Melee, and Link was my main in that, and Luigi. Those are the two mains that I had in that game. And then when Brawl happened, I actually expanded my mains quite a bit. I ended up doing Pit, Link, and Game & Watch. And then in this game, I was trying to use Game & Watch, but he just does not have the same priority he used to have. So I've actually switched over to Dark Pit now. Ooh. As one of the mains I use. I also use Cloud a lot too.
Oh, that's fun.
Yeah.
Is Sephiroth in this?
He is, and he's awesome.
Okay.
He's really
cool. I thought he was. I always kind of liked Snake when they introduced him just because he was so weird and hard to master. Yeah. But
high skill cap for sure.
Oh yeah. When the game first released, I always played as Samus just because I always thought it was fun to have that charge up of a blast and then just wait to use it when they least expect it.
Yeah, the fact that you can like hold it is pretty amazing. But yeah, I think that this version of Smash Brothers, although they, have made Game & Watch less powerful, at least with the moves that I mainly use, because I do think he is still very powerful, but it's like I just need to get better to a point where I can actually use him as effectively as I was able to use him in Brawl. And it's just you have to get more into the nuance. You have to start using like the side, I don't know if you know like that it's not just like forward A or smash A, like there's actually like a thing called tilt, where if like you just kind of push the directional softly and then hit a button, it's a totally different move than if you were to just like smash or if you were to just like tap A kind of thing. So there's a whole other move set, and those moves are quicker than say your regular kind of A attack. And with Game & Watch, you really need to be able to like master that stuff. Like his tilt down throws like a manhole cover thing that like sends people flying. That's like really, really powerful. And he's got some other stuff like he just like will throw a hammer out really quickly, and like that actually has a lot of priority.
The hot dogs. Doop, 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 doop.
Yes, that's amazing. The sausage.
Sausages.
Even that, like that used to be like basically like no one could get through that, and now like because you can use the idea of perfect dodging has been introduced, where you like if you shield at the perfect time, it will basically negate an attack. You can get through the sausages, whereas before like he'd be locked in that animation, and there was like nothing you could do. It would take so much time to like get him out of that animation that you were safe, because it's like, well, I have enough time because I'm throwing sausages, you're getting fucked up, and by the time I need to get out of the animation, you'll still be like staggered from the attack. But because now people can just get through that, like you're super vulnerable. So there's like little things like that that just have made him not as effective, or you have to kind of just play him differently. But Dark Pit is just amazing. Like his moveset's incredible. His speed is pretty, he's got a couple of like delays in his animation, like when he lands or like when he's finishing a combo and that kind of thing. But overall he's pretty amazing.
Yeah, I have yet to get it for the Switch Lite. Does Cloud do all of his limit breaks? Isn't that like one of his things? Kind of, you can do some of them or some of them.
He does. You can charge the limit break, and then you have the option to either throw a projectile that's like an it's like an omni slash that he throws out, or you can do like an omni slash if you're right on top of the person, kind of thing. So,
what is his ultimate or smash, whatever you call it?
I don't play with Smash Balls, so I don't know.
What?
I actually lately what I've been playing it more kind of tournament style, where I'll do either Battlefield or Final Destination, and I'll play with no items.
Really?
Yeah.
Gotta get those smashes, man.
I hate the Smash Balls because then the game's
all about.
Oh, the game's all about melee. The game then turned
No,
into
it's the smashes in the title.
go chase the Smash Ball. You just chase the Smash Ball. It comes out, and everyone's like, "Oh, I gotta get the Smash Ball! Oh, I gotta go get it!" And they go, like chase it. You stop fighting each other, and you're just chasing out, and it just like tips the scales. So I don't know if you know this or not, but the guy who created it apparently didn't want the game to be competitive. And all the little iterations throughout the years, they've just been making changes to make it less competitive. But like what I like about the game is not necessarily, I wouldn't say it's the competitive aspect of it, but it's the high skill. Like the fact that like it's such a simple thing. It's this brightly colored, fun, Nintendo character themed game, but it has so much precision in it. And like some of those things like really take the precision out of it. Like in Brawl, they introduced the idea of tripping, where you just be like running along to go after the person. You just randomly would just trip and fall on your ass. I don't know if you know that, or like you remember playing it that way.
I don't remember that.
Yeah. So they put tripping in the game, and they luckily took that out for, I think, the last iteration and this iteration. But yeah, I think this Smash Brothers is probably the best version of the game so far. So you should definitely get it. Definitely play it.
It shall be done.
Yeah, we can use our new Ethernet ports to play online together.
Yes, finally.
Yeah, on the OLED we're not going to buy.
Yeah, I don't have any much else for Nintendo. I don't know if was there anything else they were talking about?
I mean, I'm excited about the new Metroid.
Yeah. I was never a huge Metroid player.
You just said that you play Samus all the time. You love Metroid. It's your
I
favorite
like
game.
the Samus, man. I like her in Smash, but I never even got to play the GameCube one, Metroid Prime.
Yeah, that game's amazing.
Yeah. Yeah, I always wanted to play that one. I never got to play it.
I played the first two. I haven't played the third one. There's a third one, and now they're obviously coming out with 4. But
4. It'll probably be a fun game. It's supposed to be like the end of the Metroid Mother Brain story, whatever it's called.
Okay. That'll be cool if it ever comes out, because we've been waiting for it since Switch launched. I guess they did
the one that they were announced a long time ago.
So Metroid Prime 4, they announced at the launch of the Switch. We've been waiting for it to come out ever since. And then this one that they just announced, it's another side-scrolling one, which is interesting because they came out with a side-scroller on 3DS in the meantime as well. So now we're going to get 2 side-scrolling Metroids before we even get Metroid Prime 4. So, yeah, but I don't think there is much more on the Nintendo front in terms of stuff that I care about either.
Hold on a second. There were 3 Metroid Primes, the first FPS ones?
Yes.
Are you serious?
I'm serious.
There was only 1.
I own 2 of them. I don't have the third one. The third one I think was on Wii.
Wow.
The first 2 were on GameCube, and then the third one was on Wii. And then they made a collection on Wii that was all 3, and you could use the Wii Plus. And then now we're waiting for 4.
Ay caramba.
Yeah.
Huh. All right. Well, Nintendo. I know Xbox has had a lot of news. Don't look at me like that. Bob Bethesda. That's a huge deal. Game Pass.
Yeah.
I can't talk good enough about Game Pass. I love Game Pass, even though it's kind of overwhelming. There's too many choices. It's but
I
it's pretty cool.
I hate it.
You don't like it? I don't even have a Xbox Live Gold membership. You're not even a gold player,
I'm
man.
not even a gold member. No, you know, I don't like it. I don't like it because I've had so many instances of friends basically being like, I got a free game. And it's like, really, talk to me in 2 years when it gets deleted or it's not available on the server or you don't have the membership anymore, so you can't play it. Like, I'm firm physical game collector. I hate digital copies. I hate digital downloads. They um, are basically 100%, beneficial for the industry and not really consumer friendly in almost any way. The only
I
thing,
definitely agree with you, and but I still love it just because, even given the fact that a lot of it is temporary, because humans are temporary. We'll all be dead soon, so give it to me as service. But
fair
no, I
point.
do agree with you.
Fair
I think
point.
I agree with you more in it with the aspect of listening to music. I hate that you can't buy like and own albums digitally anymore. I think only iTunes, maybe you can still do it on Apple Music.
I don't know. I still buy CDs, so I'm that guy.
Yeah, I mean that's like the way to go, it seems, because now it's just everything is streaming pretty much. But Game Pass, I mean, they it is a great option, and they're getting a lot of day one AAA games lately, which is nuts. And as long as
It is
you,
cool.
yeah, I mean, I guess as long as you aren't too scatterbrained about it and you try and focus on just playing a certain game. There have been, like, I bought Biomutant because I knew I wanted the physical copy of that.
Mhm.
So in that regard, I'll still buy physical copies if I really want to own it, like Final Fantasy 7 and stuff like
Yeah,
that.
I mean, I think you're right. I think it's kind of similar to like when we were in high school and downloading music and downloading movies and stuff became very popular. And it was kind of like I remember being a musician, like being like, I don't really want to do this. Not that I totally agreed with the whole like Metallica Napster thing, but I think that the sentiment behind it, there was some credence to what they were saying, that like you're basically kind of stealing from artists, you're robbing them of their royalties, and it might have actually led to a better revolution that gives more money to musicians. But at the time, it was literally just kind of taking money away from musicians. So the way that I would do it is I'd like download something, see if I liked it, which would almost kind of be the equivalent of just going on YouTube and checking something out and then going out and buying it. So I mean, if you're using Game Pass like that too, where it's like, I mean, I buy so many games. I just bought Scarlet Nexus for PS5. I popped it in and I was immediately like, I don't think I'm going to finish this game. I don't even think I'm going to play this game.
I don't
Like I
even
just,
know what that is.
it's a new
I don't want to know.
action. It's an action RPG, anime style, very very heavy exposition, story based kind of game.
Is that only for next gen?
Yeah, it's only on PS5 and I think it's on Xbox Series X as well. I could be
I
wrong.
hate that it's called Series X, by the way. Like, please change the name.
Yeah, it's terrible.
They already have an Xbox One X, right? Isn't that like the Pro one? Is it like,
Yeah,
it's like, come on, Series X? No.
terrible.
Yeah.
No, and and it's funny because they called the One X the Project Scorpio, which I have the Project Scorpio edition, and I love that. That's so
Mhm.
cool. And then for this one, I think it was this one. It was called Project Scarlet, which is also a really cool name, like
Yeah.
Xbox Scarlet. Like that's fine. But then it's like when they unveil they're using these code names to try to like, hold back the excitement on what their real name's going to be. And they're like, hey, you know what the real name's going to be? Xbox One X. We we thought we needed a little more X. And then
Even the fact that they went to Xbox One as their third generation console is insane.
you know what they should have done? They should have just called it Microsoft Series X or something like that. Could have just called it Microsoft Series X, and
Yeah.
it was like rebranding it all together.
Yeah, very strange. But
Yeah.
yeah, I mean, going back to Game Pass, I mean, they did buy a lot of they bought Bethesda, and a lot of those properties now are going to come to Xbox first, and a lot of them are coming to Game Pass day one, which I think is insane to be able to play some of these games. Like I played, well, Outriders was one, which was fun but kind of a hot mess, and then what what was that? Outer Worlds.
Oh, that was a cool game.
Yeah, that was a fun game. It was I kind of burnt through that pretty quick, so it wasn't too overwhelming. But I had a lot of fun with it. That came day one, and so it's kind of neat to see them utilizing this service that you're kind of in a way already paying for with gold just a little bit more, but it's neat.
Yeah, I think I like when I say I hate it, I don't mean that. I don't mean that objectively. It's like it's not really for me personally, just because I'm so much into the physical game collection, but I think it definitely has an audience. I think there's a lot of people who can benefit from it. You can play a lot of games for not a lot of money. So I think it's an awesome service. I do just think that there is a little bit of marketing manipulation in services like that, where, you know, if it seems too good to be true, there is definitely some dark sides that you're not really thinking through until some time passes, right? And I think that there's a lot of kids who are probably, you know, thinking like, I have all these games on Game Pass, and again, a few years will pass, they'll forget their password to their Microsoft account or something like that, and then that entire game library is gone, you know, when they've amassed this collection of games over time, through a subscription service, or even, you know, even just digital downloads that happens with, like, let's say take Game Pass out of the equation, you just decide to opt out of the physical copy, you know, and you go to download it on your PlayStation, and then you forget your password, or you get locked out of your account, or your account gets hacked. Well, now your whole digital game library is just gone.
Yeah, I think that's a good argument to bring up, because it is important to have a physical copy if you really want to own that game. But for now, I mean, it's a good way, like you said, to kind of try out a game if you really like it.
Yeah.
Hmm.
So curious what you think about this. You mean, I remember even before I got really big into video games, I remember coming over your house and you're playing Morrowind. I know for a fact you played Oblivion. You certainly played Skyrim. Are you excited about Elder Scrolls 6?
Elder Scrolls 6, I haven't really had a lot of energy towards the next Elder Scrolls. I haven't put a lot of thought into it. So I guess I would say I don't care as much. I am looking forward to when it eventually happens, but I'm not one of the people that's just out there scouring the internet. I mean, trying to figure out what the next Elder Scrolls is going to be. I think they're more focused on that space game and what that's going to be.
Starlink, is that what it's called?
Yes.
I think it's Starlink.
Star something. Starfield.
Oh, is Starlink the Elon
Starlink
Musk
is that
project?
weird Switch game that came out where you can have the little plane to fly around.
Starlink is the Elon Musk project with SpaceX.
Also that, yeah.
Starfield. Yeah, so yeah, they're probably focused on that, I guess you're right. Yeah, we'll see. That might be good. I mean, I'd rather probably have them give us a new IP. I mean, I'm very, very burnt out on the Bethesda formula. Unlike that, you know, open world Bethesda formula, because I know they also have things like Dishonored, and they did the Doom games, and Wolfenstein, which I loved the first remake of Wolfenstein that they did.
That's amazing. I played a little bit of that. That game was pretty amazing.
Yeah, I like that one a lot. I that was one where I picked it up. I was like, I'll try this. I think I bought it in like a bargain bin. It was the New Order specifically, and popped it in, couldn't put it down, beat the whole thing.
Oh wow.
A couple of sittings kind of situation. I just couldn't put it down.
Beautiful game too. The graphics are amazing.
Yeah.
The the one thing I have about the Elder Scrolls that I just thought of is like Skyrim has been on everybody's mind for so long because they've brought it to like re-released it multiple times.
Yeah, totally.
And what is it like? It's over 10 years old at this point, isn't it?
Yeah, it came out in 2011. So
yeah. And I feel like the new game is going to have to, it's going to be weird going from Skyrim, because Skyrim was like such a new thing. It's kind of like the Breath of Wild of Elder Scrolls, because you have all these really cool, unique abilities with the Dragonborn. So what are they going to do next to make it more like have that exciting aspect? Because that was such a cool, fun element of that game. I'm not sure where they're going to take it. If they'll just kind of go back to the main roots of the game, like
yeah.
Plus, they could easily just remake one of the old games and people would love it too, like Morrowind or Oblivion.
Yeah, totally. I hope that they take the amount of time that they've had, their game out on the marketplace and gotten feedback and seen kind of like what works, what doesn't work. I hope that what one of the major changes that they make is, for people like me who like really like to grind levels, um, that they make the special weapons that you get, like the Nightingale armor and stuff like that, like make that either scale in a way where it's going to be the absolute best, or just create some kind of end game layer that you can't get to until you've already kind of maxed everything out, so that there is kind of like that final tier to get. Because I remember going crazy with like all the trees and getting all my armor and weapons, and I had like Daedric stuff, and I was probably only halfway through the story, and then as I'm progressing the story, I'm getting all these special legendary items and Daedric weapons and all this stuff, and they suck by comparison to my equipment. So I'd get it, and then this is half the attack power of the weapon that I personally use. So I really feel like they should figure that part of the equation out. Just because the whole idea is that they're creating this, a lot of freedom in the game, and there are people who are just going to do that. They're going to be like, oh, I don't want to experience the story until I really truly experience the systems that they've given us, and then I'll kind of go and do the story. And the other thing I think that I'd like to see is, and The Witcher was kind of guilty of this as well, is just like inventory overload.
Oh,
Like we need to get away from that in games. I don't care. Like there was a point where I remember I was working in a call center at the time, and I was constantly inundated with emails, and I was like answering phones, and it was like trying to manage all this stuff and manage calendars. And I'd come home and play Skyrim, and I'd be going through my inventory, and I was like, this is like checking email. Like I was like deleting stuff and dropping stuff, and I was like, I need to go sell this. You have to wait for the store to be open to sell it. And I was like, I'm literally just managing stuff like I'm at work. And I just don't want that in a video game. So that's something else that I hope that they really figure the magical formula out for.
yeah. I mean that I think a lot of that too was it just gets so overwhelming with a lot of that stuff and just the whole crafting system. I guess in some respect you can play the game in a way where you don't even do the crafting aspect.
Yeah, you
Just
could ignore it.
just find the loot that, like, oh, I just killed this guy, he has good loot, I'll use it. But in that respect, you're also kind of limiting what you can accomplish, because clearly crafting armor is going to be vastly better than anything you can find, like you were saying.
Yeah, you can make sure you have a matching set and that kind of thing. So you're not like all like an elven helmet with like a glass armor and like Daedric feet and like, your hands still showing because you haven't found gloves yet.
Yeah, exactly. I always didn't really like how there were certain armor sets that were always going to be better than everything else too. I mean, I guess in some you can make maybe like I always liked the obsidian armor because there's this dark. I think that was what it was called. There's
There's
this
Daedric and Ebony as far as the
ebony. I think yeah, ebony looked really cool, but you can only make it so strong. It would be
yeah,
nice to be able to bring that into a way to craft it so it's just as good as Daedric or glass, whatever you
totally.
like. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. And there was one of the ways that you could kind of do that is if you kind of glitch the game with the potions and stuff, you could actually make things so strong that like everything was basically, you could wear anything and it would all just be like make you invincible kind of thing. But now you're breaking the game in a way where it's like I don't necessarily want to walk around invincible either, because that's not entirely fun. So but I agree. I think that games like Borderlands, games like Skyrim, games like Diablo, like they know that we like loot, but I feel like what you enjoy about it, I think hasn't been mastered yet. Like I feel like the excitement of it dropping is one thing that's like, there's that like dopamine release or whatever, like, oh, legendary drop, this is amazing. But then there needs to be a carry through of I'm this particular level when it dropped. I'm going to be, this level in the future, and like mapping out that whole journey of like making sure that that item still has some kind of like appeal to it, or you can do something with it once you find it. I think that that's like really, really important. I mean, I look at, a game that did that really well is Fallout 3. You know, you get the terrible shotgun, and that gun is just amazing for the whole game. You get the alien blaster. You know, if you find the alien blaster or the fire lance, which is very, very rare to find, there's like a random event that happens where it falls out of the sky, and it doesn't happen every single time. Um, you get that gun, and it's just like overwhelmingly good. And there's no leveling, and you level your character, and you get better with energy weapons, and then the gun, the guns kind of remain the same, and they increase because you've increased. And I think that's kind of a cool way to do it, where you're better at doing things, the items stay the same.
I like that as well. How do you feel about when they introduced the crafting mechanic to Fallout 4?
I thought it was tacked on. It felt like it came out at a time when Minecraft was like really popular, and that whole idea of like building things was starting to become like a popular mechanic in games. So I think that they kind of tacked it on to the, and I don't think it, exactly what you said, right? Like I didn't do much crafting in Fallout 4. I did enough to get the achievement for the 100% happiness. You have to build all the stores and everything, and make the settlement happy. And I obviously like upgraded my weapons. I thought that was kind of a cool addition to be able to customize your weapons a little bit. But I could take it or leave it, right? It's like if you give me a weapon that's just enjoyable to use, and it's like a Borderlands gun, right? Like where it just randomly rolls with certain things. I think that I would have probably been more interested in doing that in Borderlands, where because the parts actually have direct, like very, very distinguished like differences. Like if you have a certain grip, it's more damage, or if you have a certain barrel, it has different projectile types. I think that would have been kind of cool. But I feel like if you're going to do a crafting system like that, like it needs to be, I don't want to say simple, but it needs to be refined enough that like it's very clear and quick to understand, and you get excited about. You're not sitting there going like, okay, what does this mean? How does this work? Is this really going to make a difference? Do I need to pay money? Am I using a resource I can't get back to switch this? If I change it, can I never change it back? Do I lose the original part? All of those things that when you're going through, when you're like dealing with a new crafting system.
And it also introduced like having to repair them as well, right? Didn't you have to? Was that in 3?
Yeah, in 3, the way they did it is you just found a gun of the same type, and you would just consume that gun to repair it.
That's what it was.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I think in this game, I think you just went to the workbench and you just hit repair, and you paid money to repair it or something like that.
I think you used like some pieces maybe. I can't remember.
Yeah, might have been. I do think it was
similar where you could use other weapons to combine to it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean it was neat, but it was kind of it can be a little tedious finding all the stuff you need. I remember playing it on 76. You just get over encumbered like instantly. It's just like, oh boy. But well, yeah, I mean, who knows what they'll do with Elder Scrolls. I know that was what we were kind of talking about next, but hopefully it's something, it'll be good. It just, I have no idea what the heck they're going to do.
Yeah, in a way, I almost kind of hope it gets delayed even further so that we have some more time to kind of cool off from that formula. So when we do finally pick it back up, it'll feel fresh and
delay it.
Yeah, I feel like there's a fine line, right, of like the amount of hype that it takes. Like I feel like Breath of the Wild, like that was a perfect example of a game where they stretched that out for so long. It was so hyped. It was going to come out. It didn't come out. It was going to come out again. Didn't come out. And they just kept pushing and pushing and pushing. And then when it finally came out, it exceeded all expectations. But I feel like the game would have exceeded all expectations no matter when it came out. And I feel like with Elder Scrolls right now, they now need a game like Breath of the Wild that has enough that is unseen and that's kind of unimagined for us to consume and get excited about to really kind of meet the hype. Otherwise, it's going to be another Cyberpunk situation where, people, because Cyberpunk's not even a bad game. Like that, I was talking to somebody tonight about that, where it's like, it's not really. It's got great graphics. Yes, it has some technical issues, but like the storyline's really good. If you're playing it on one of the newer consoles or on PC, like, it's just an absolutely beautiful game, lots of detail. And it's just compelling, and the systems are kind of new and interesting. But once that kind of inertia of negativity comes out on something with our kind of current the way our kind of current internet culture is, it's just like, if it gets labeled as bad, it's bad, and it will always be bad. And I'll be interested to see if Cyberpunk ever gets listed in like a top 10 like hidden gem type lists later on down the line, where it's like, oh, when it came out, it wasn't very well received, but if you actually play this game, it's really good.
Yeah, I still really want to play that game. My brother played it on Stadia, Google Stadia, and he said it was one of the best ways to play it, apparently.
Interesting.
Yeah.
I played it on Series X. I haven't finished it actually, but I didn't really have problems with it. There was a couple of funny glitches. There was one time where I was like sneaking, and this guy caught me, and then he just like exploded all over the ground. And I was like, well, I guess that's no longer a problem, but I just kept moving.
Wow.
So that was like kind of a funny glitch. And there was some stuff where like there was a cell phone and like stuck in the air. But it's like, hey, I'm a Bethesda veteran. Like I'm used to that kind of stuff. Like
Some of that stuff's kind of fun though.
yeah, I like it. I mean, I'm not saying that that I want the game to be released, but I feel like there's this like need for things to be perfect, or like I don't know. I feel like it's very easy to nitpick stuff
Right.
nowadays. So I think it just got a lot of negative feedback. I mean, a lot of the negative feedback was rightfully delivered, but I do think that it eventually kind of tipped over what was reasonable to kind of dislike about the game.
Yeah. I was really looking forward to Dungeons and Dragons Dark Alliance.
That game did not get good reviews.
No, it shouldn't, because it sucks.
Did you buy it?
No, it came to Game Pass day one.
Oh, perfect Game Pass use.
Day one, baby, I'm telling you. Game Pass all the way. I played it with two of my brothers, and it was super laggy. The frame rate would drop constantly, and I'm playing it on like the last gen, so I mean, and it wasn't even the game play itself was bad. It was just the combat was really janky. It didn't feel good. You get new equipment, but you don't learn new abilities, so everything's accessible to you from the get-go. So it loses that kind of urge to want to level up, and you get you can upgrade stuff, but it's just abilities and like stat bonuses, stuff like that. And I don't know, it just fell flat. Sad, because I really wanted like a cool fantasy RPG type of game to play instead of like an FPS type of game. But
yeah, it's a bummer. There's actually a new Magic the Gathering set that's coming out that's Dungeons and Dragons themed, and I was excited about that as well. And I started looking at some of the previews, and I was like, not feeling it. I don't really care. Like, it's just not great.
Dungeons and Dragons is weird. Whenever it tries to do something outside of the board game realm, it's just like falls flat on its face every time. So I don't know.
I think what it needs is a summer blockbuster movie, because those always go really well.
Oh yeah, which they're planning on doing.
Are they really?
Yeah, they're trying to make a new movie after that horrendous one with the all I remember from that old one, which came out in the early 2000s, maybe late 90s. I can't remember when it came out, but they have like that eye beast. I forget what it's called. And the line in the movie, he says something like,
can you help me find my contact lens?
It was like an eye joke. It's like, you're always seeing something. And it's like, oh, okay, he's got lots of eyes.
Yeah, we get it. You got eyes.
It's just silly. But poor Dungeons and Dragons.
Yeah, it's too bad. But it is cool. I mean, that's perfect. Like you were saying earlier, it's a perfect example where Game Pass really came through for you, right? Because if you had bought that at full price, it was probably $60, or if you bought it on next gen, it's $70. and then you get it and you're like, wow, this is trash, and your brother says, I don't even want to be your brother anymore.
Yeah, we're not brothers anymore now, man.
And then then you don't have a brother and you're out the game and the money. That's like,
yeah, what can you do, man?
I think Game Pass saved your family. If I,
In one way it did.
Yeah.
It really did. I get
Cool.
Yeah.
So if we've learned anything on this episode, I think it's that everyone needs to go out and get Game Pass.
Everybody's getting Game Pass. You should also get Switch Online. They got some games on there. The SNES library and the NES.
Yeah. I think it's another scenario though where you can't actually own the games. It's like you get to play them while you have the subscription, and then it's like, okay.
I really wish I got the SNES Classic when it was out. It was like right in front of me, and there was the NES. They had both in stock. I was like, I really want, and I just got the NES, but I was like, I should have just bought both.
Yeah, I actually prefer the SNES Classic over the NES Classic.
Yeah, I would have too. I'm a fool. I should have got it.
It's got Link to the Past. It's got
what the hell?
Final Fantasy 3, which is a game definitely worth playing. Trying to think what else on the Castlevania 4, Super Castlevania.
I wonder if those have gone down in price. No.
Probably.
I mean, it's got Super Mario World, probably.
Yeah, it does. Super Mario World, Kirby, like one of the Kirby games.
Kirby All-Stars? Super Mario All-Stars?
Not bad.
Wow.
120.
Well, they got I might have, how much?
I found one as low as 80, which is pretty cheap. I mean,
that's like the price they were going for.
Yeah. So go on eBay, get yourself one.
I want it.
It's all solid state. I highly doubt somebody could break it.
I'll never play it.
Let's see here.
Like I never played the NES.
Oh, Super Metroid. How can we forget that? I don't like Metroid that much. You're gonna like this one. You play it.
I don't like the Metroid because it's a girl.
Mega Man X, Secret of Mana.
Bad.
Amazing. Shut up.
Oh.
And there's also the one thing that is truly disappointing on it is so Star Fox is on it, which does not age well. And then they never released Star Fox 2, but they released it on this. Earthbound, Super Ghouls and Ghosts.
Yeah, those are actually, I mean, Earthbound alone, I think a lot of people wanted it for that because that game is
Street Fighter 2.
Expensive. Oh, they had Street Fighter on there?
Street Fighter 2 is on here, yep.
That's
and then
the best one.
Super Mario RPG. Yeah, Street Fighter 1 nobody talks about because it wasn't anything.
Which one?
Street Fighter 1 no one talks about because it wasn't even really like a game.
Terrible.
Yeah, so you should buy this. And then
I should buy it and I will play it and I will talk to you about it.
Then you can actually hack it.
I know I thought about doing that with the NES.
Yeah, void where prohibited, but
yeah.
Cool. Anything else you want to chat about?
You watched them in Loki?
Have been watching Loki, yeah. Really liking it so far. I think you're an episode behind me, but yeah, I think it's the best Disney show that best Marvel show they've done on Disney so far.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. I think I still kind of like Falcon and the Winter Soldier better.
Really, I'd actually put WandaVision above that one.
Ooh, WandaVision was okay.
It was the best.
WandaVision is the best with you.
Favorite show I've ever seen. No, I just what I liked about WandaVision when I first the first episode.
Yeah,
I felt like they were actually doing something creative, like it had an art house feel to it, kind of.
Yeah.
And I just felt like it was different. Like they were just spinning it in a way that I just thought it was like really well done and creative. The Winter Soldier was good. I liked the Winter Soldier a lot as well, but it was just very typical superhero storyline. And then with this one, again, it's pushing things in a direction where you're looking at a character through a different lens, and you're actually seeing like alternate versions of Loki and that kind of thing. You always get a sense throughout the Marvel universe that he has a good side and a bad side. In the comics, I remember him just being straight up bad. I don't remember him ever having any kind of good side.
Right.
but it's cool that they're kind of making that spin, and the fact that Owen Wilson in it also a win.
Yeah, he's always fun. I don't know too much about the comics, but the story is good, and I think with each show, minus I guess really Falcon and the Winter Soldier, they're trying to create these very unique, like unfolding mystery, like shows, I guess. So you don't know what's gonna come next. Falcon was a little more straightforward. They were just on this mission, a couple missions, and all that. But
Yeah, it
yeah,
was good, really good.
WandaVision, I still liked it a lot, and I'm looking forward to where they take this because I think there's only 6 total episodes in Loki. Or is
Oh,
it
really? That means the next one is the last one?
I think so.
Oh, okay.
I don't think because I think
Yeah, I'd be fine with that.
yeah. I'm down.
Yeah, WandaVision had a stronger start than finish, I feel like. I liked WandaVision more at the beginning, and then as the show went on, I liked it less and less. By the time they did the villain reveal, I was kind of like, meh.
Yeah, and then that's where I agree. They actually it lost me around that part because then they had all the fighting and they're like
Yeah.
and
Violence. They had the violence.
they had all that violence and it wasn't sexy enough. And,
None of blood. Not
yeah,
even blood.
It ended kind of nicely though. I liked how it was like, oh, she
Yeah.
built this reality, and then it all gets kind of crushed.
Yeah.
But
She took everyone hostage and then was like, sorry, not sorry, and then just drives away and says, enjoy the rest of your lives, even though I enslaved you for some duration of time that was probably a really long time.
yeah, I know. They're all just like, what? Should we fight?
Yeah. Like, we're gonna sue you.
Yeah, exactly.
You're going to jail. You held us hostage.
You should go to jail. Whatever.
But yeah, Loki's really cool so far.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to where they go with it, and I don't know. We'll see. You said something about you watched the Kenshin movies again, the OVAs.
I watched the originals, yeah, because the final came out on Netflix, and not to be confused with the beginning that comes out after the final.
The beginning, final part 2.
Yeah, and I watched the originals. I actually watched it in Japanese this time. I always say I'm going to watch it in Japanese, but because we watched them in English so much on the old VHSs, I'm so kind of partial to the English version.
Yeah,
And
hearing the
you know what? Oh, good.
I was just saying, hearing the voice acting on that is so memorable to us.
Yes, all the lines the little one-liners and stuff. But I was like, you know what? I had watched the live action movies in Japanese because I think that's how it defaults, and I just think it's more natural. And I was like, I'll watch this in Japanese. And Kenshin's voice was actually very weird. I would say that some of the parts that were normally emotional were not as emotional without the English voice acting. But I think it's just because we've kind of attached emotion to it after seeing it for so long, kind of thing. And some of the wording is just totally different. Like, I remember the lines so well because I've seen it so many times, and it just doesn't have the same gravity without the same lines, kind of thing. So
that's interesting.
yeah,
We'll probably have to do a full-on episode about that series now that there's so many movies, and I mean alongside of the animated stuff too.
Yeah.
So, I don't know.
I feel like even though that is like very popular in Japan, like even friends that I have who watch anime don't really, like, you are the only other friend that I have that I think really is aware of it or like kind of has the same love for it. So it's
I haven't met anybody else really that has been familiar with the animated OVA episodes or the movies really, and which is weird. I don't know why. I guess it came out at a weird time where you could only get it on VHS imported, so maybe that was part of it. Yeah, definitely still stands to be one of my favorite of all time.
Yeah, I don't know if I sent you a video, but I was going to. He's apparently Himura Kenshin is actually based on a real life historical figure. I'll have to try to find the video and send it to you. But I thought that was really cool that he was actually based on a samurai, and that particular person, was very like small. He was like a small person. He wasn't like a big, lumbering samurai guy, and he was like known for being like exceptionally good with a sword and being tiny at the same time, which is kind of like Kenshin's whole kind of character. But
Did he learn the Mitsurugi technique?
I do not know.
Huh.
But yeah, he's actually. I'll have to find it. I don't remember the facts. I watched it very quickly. I was like, Tom needs to see this, and then I moved on to the next.
Then you didn't send me it.
I didn't send it. You know why I didn't send it to you? Because it was actually mixed in with a bunch of other characters that were based on real life samurai. So he was like in the middle of it, and I was like, "Oh, this is amazing! This is Kenshin." But I'll find it and send it over to you. But yeah, I'm excited for the latest live action is going to be the original origin story.
I'm looking forward to that. They're really saving the best for last, I guess.
Yeah.
So that's going to be cool to see. Hopefully, they'll go into a little more of his bloodier roots. See some of his violence.
Yeah, I think that I think it'll be interesting to see that actor kind of go into that, because you see it a few times in the movies, like where he kind of turns on the kind of old Kenshin and just kind of goes at it. So I think to see him in his kind of purest form, I think will be really cool.
There's a quote I've always remembered from the animation where this older guy is walking with one of the target that is married to Tomoe, and Kenshin is going to kill. And the kid who's talking about like, oh, this world is a mess and blah blah blah, and then the other guy's like, each man must seek happiness for himself, no matter what the sorry state of the world. And all that line has stuck with me since I've heard it. I don't know why, but that's really cool.
It's funny. There's a couple of things in there like that. Like I feel like his master kind of has a few lines like that too. That are true wisdom that like actually kind of shine through. It's like, this kind of silly, not silly, but to try to kind of show it to somebody else. It's like, oh, you got to see this anime. Like you wouldn't, it's just like, oh, it's like an action anime, like whatever, but that actually has some real wisdom in it. One of the ones that I liked a lot, that line stuck out to me too. And this time when I watched it, I was like, I forgot how like amazing that line is. One of the lines that I loved is his master is sitting under the stars, and he's like, the passing of the seasons, the shining of the stars, all of these things are what give sake its good taste. Someday when you understand this, we'll enjoy sake together. And then later on, Tomoe and Kenshin are sitting in a bar together, and I think one of them says like, the sake doesn't taste good today, and then like another time when they're getting along really well, they're like, oh, the sake tastes really good. And I feel like it was like I didn't pick up on it as a kid, but it's like this extra layer of like maturity in the story or in like the dialogue where they're talking about an adult's relationship with alcohol in a way where it's like you don't really appreciate it until you really understand life in a bigger way. It's not going to have the same impact, whereas a kid drinking it, or if you're kind of just doing it recreationally, I don't know, it was kind of cool. It was a very like, it was a cool like Eastern philosophy thing that was kind of just like peppered in and just really resonated when I watched it this time through anyway.
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
Yeah,
I don't remember the sake thing. Sake. I remember in The Last Samurai.
Yeah, when he's addicted.
I thought I told you. He's like screaming in his sleep.
Yeah. I rewatched that movie recently, and it stands up. It's still amazing.
Yeah, I think I watched it last year, and I'm like, this movie is just so well done. The choreography on the fight scenes of that stand the test of time, because it's just, the ninja scene is incredible, where he matches up with, I don't even remember the guy's name, the leader of that village.
I don't remember either.
But yeah, just the fight scenes, and when he finally learns to fight on his own is really amazing.
Yeah, a lot of heart in that movie for sure.
A lot of heart. A lot of blood, a lot of
But yeah,
violence.
so the beginning is coming out July 30th on Netflix.
Ooh, so we don't have to wait long.
We don't have to wait long, so I'm very excited for that.
Oh, that's gonna be awesome. Yeah,
Yeah.
we're gonna have to focus some energy on an episode on that. We'll have to figure out how we'll break it down, but that'll be fun to talk about.
Yeah. Can't wait.
Cool. Well, I think that's it for this episode. I don't know about you.
Yeah, I think we're good. I think this was kind of a cool format to just kind of, talk about what we've been doing lately, talk about some of the new announcements that are coming out. Sony State of Play happened today, so
All right, Sony State of Play.
yeah, which is basically their new like instead of going to E3 anymore, they're kind of just doing this State of Play on their own. So I haven't actually watched it yet. We'll see what comes out with that, but hopefully there's some cool stuff coming to PS5 and maybe they're making a PS Vita too, but probably not. But I'm still in the
That would be kind of cool if they did that. All I know of is Elden Ring is the only news I know of for that.
which is kind of that same thing as Elder Scrolls. I'm very burnt out on the Souls formula, so we'll see. I'm definitely gonna pick it up and play it. I hope that there's something.
Well, would you say that you're burnt out even if like a new Souls game came out
Um,
in itself, or would it have to be like what was that other one that came out that's similar? The gun one. I can't think of it. You can use guns.
Bloodborne.
Yes, Bloodborne. You love that.
I love Bloodborne.
Would it have to be like a Bloodborne 2 to get your attention?
If it was Bloodborne 2, that would definitely get my attention because I don't think the full story has been told in that universe. I feel like Dark Souls, the story has been exhausted between at least games 1 and 3 and the DLC for 3. So I don't really need to see much more of the Dark Souls. Well, I mean, I would love to see more of the Dark Souls world, but I feel like that kind of main story was like wrapped up nicely. So I'm fine with them just kind of going on to other franchises.
Right.
But it's that whole like, slow combat, go to an enemy, get overwhelmed, get surprised, get killed, lose all your resources, that formula. I've just played so many games like that recently that I'm kind of ready for something new to come along like that kind of, reinvents the wheel a bit. So, but we'll see. I mean, I'm going to play Elden Ring and sometimes you get surprised with those things. I mean, I didn't think when I saw Neo for the first time, I was like, oh, it's, Samurai Dark Souls. And then I played it and I was like, this is so special. It's such a refined version. It's the perfect blend of Ninja Gaiden, and Dark Souls. So we'll see what happens.
Yeah, I feel like Neo was actually that could have gone so badly, but they really knocked it out of the park with that. And I've only played like literally barely the beginning. I feel like I haven't even gotten past the first area in that game.
The bosses are very, very difficult in that game. I think that
Oh boy,
they're more difficult than Dark Souls.
oh no.
Yeah, Dark Souls. I feel like you can go in and you can like figure it out. Like I got to a point when I was trying to do the platinums for Dark Souls 1 and 3, where I was able to beat the game in like 4 to 6 hours with those games. Like once you start to get the patterns, and in a way, I like that about the games because once you figure it out, you can kind of then master it. Neo, I went back and went to go do another playthrough of the first game, and I was like, oh, I'll get to the first boss, I'll kick his ass, and I'll start progressing through it pretty quickly. I hit the first boss, and it took me like 10 to 15 tries, maybe even more than that, to beat the first boss in the game. I was like, wow, and I've already played this and beat it. This is insane.
Too much.
Yeah, it's hard, man. It's really hard.
Wow.
But yeah, so that's a wrap.
That's
See
it.
you next time.
Yeah, thanks for watching, everybody. Like, subscribe, follow us, tell your friends, eat some pizza. You know what I'm saying?
Gotta have that pizza.
All right. Peace out.